All right, so about 6 months ago, I got a chance to go hands-on with this. This is Sirui's 50mm Anamorphic lens. And at the time, I thought it was really cool to be able to get those widescreen shots along with those lens flares. However, one of the things that I didn't account for was the fact that 50mm is a very limited focal length, especially when you're shooting on APS-C. It made, certain shots very hard and tight. I asked for a wider lens from Sirui, and well, they delivered with this, the 35mm Sirui Anamorphic F1.8. And in today's video, I'm gonna show you test footage from it and give you my thoughts on this lens because it's really freaking awesome. What's good, guys? Ken here, you're watching Original Dobo, and today we're taking a look at the 35mm F1.8 lens from Sirui. This lens is what I wanted initially. This was the lens that I really wanted when I first saw an anamorphic lens. Let's firstly go over the build quality. The build quality of this lens is second to none. It takes everything I loved about the first lens, combines it into 35mm. It has that beautiful aluminum finish. It has a really nice heft. It does weigh a little bit more than the first lens at 1.10 ounces. But what really is nice about this is the fact that the aperture is declicked, same as the first one. The focus ring is just as smooth, if not smoother, than the 50mm. And you get an f1.8 aperture, plus that lovely, lovely, lovely anamorphic lens. So anamorphic lenses, for those of you who don't know, take a normal sort of 4:3 image and squeeze it down into a very long 1.33 times image, which gives you sort of that widescreen look and feel. Now this video has been filmed in 4K and in a standard 16:9 aspect ratio. So all these shots will be compressed into the 16:9 aspect ratio, but still have the letter bar effect for dramatic sequence. I do plan on releasing a full cinematic video with this, but I wanna go ahead and put up some test shots for it because me telling you about this lens doesn't do justice until you actually see it in action. Alrighty, so for the vast majority of those shots, they were filmed on the Sony a6600. Now, this lens is for APS-C style sensors. When you look at their Indiegogo campaign, it will say micro four thirds, but they do go ahead and include a E-mount adapter, which allowed me to mount it to this, and it was really super easy to install. All the tools were in the box to do it. I did shoot some of these clips on a gimbal. I'm using the Zhiyun Weeble S. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but if I butcher it, that's not uncommon for me to do here. So I'm gonna go ahead and mount this camera on here just to show you how well it actually does balance on a gimbal, because I know some people really do like those super steady shots. So I'm gonna go ahead and mount it here. I think I got it pretty well set. It's not the perfect balance. That's one thing that's really nice about the Weeble S. You don't have to have perfect balance. Let me go ahead and power this bad boy on. And let's see, is that powering on? Yeah, it is. So there we go. So now it's on and there's no motor vibrations and it was able to hold it with ease. I didn't really notice, really any issues. You do want to go ahead and calibrate your gimbal anytime you do put a lens that is this heavy. Because if you look from the side here, this is a chunky monkey of a lens. I mean, it is heavy. So it's also obscure, so at least with the Weeble S, you can balance heavier lenses like this with no issue. I probably wouldn't attempt that with my Ronin SC. I probably would not attempt it. I did put the Ronin SC on the 50mm lens, and the Ronin SC struggled with an a6400 and the 50mm anamorphic. It worked for those shots that I needed, but not quite as well as this. So this definitely really opened the game up for me. The other thing that I ended up using too is a Ninja Atmos. And what I did was I put this in the anamorphic mode for the 1.33 crop, which allowed me to preview the image before it was actually de-squeezed, so I can line up my shots absolutely perfect. Again, this lens isn't gonna be a lens that everybody is going to have a need for, but if you like to make cinematic sequences or you want interesting B-roll, this lens will definitely give you those shots. Now, I do plan on releasing a full cinematic video filmed entirely on the 35mm, and I may include some shots of the 50mm. So if you're interested in that, be sure that you are subscribed to the channel so you don't miss those. But all in all, I give this lens 2 thumbs up. I'm interested in to see what they add next. So we got the 35mm, we got a 50mm. I mean, the only thing we're really missing is like an 18mm, like an ultra wide angle anamorphic lens. But I think that would be cool if we had something like that to sort of round out the cinematic trifecta. But yeah, if you want to see more videos from the anamorphic 35mm, be sure to drop a like down below. I may also upload some test footage for you guys to edit and play with and de-squeeze on your own so you can see the sharpness, because I know YouTube's compression will always destroy the video quality. So sometimes when you download these videos, they're gonna be 4K 24 frames per second. You can at least play with them and determine whether or not this lens is right for you. I think the sharpness is good, the contrast is good. I'm really happy with it. But there you go, that's my video, that's my review. If you enjoyed, like I said, hit the like button, and as always, stay original.